good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. So I want you to walk with me this morning on the journey of self-discovery, on the journey of self-acceptance, on the journey of self-empowerment, all for the purpose of transforming yourself and really fulfilling your destiny in this space and time. I am Obafemi Odigunwa, and this is the School of Orisha Studies, the Orisha Lifestyle Academy. And I am here to share a lesson with you today that has the capacity to liberate you from some really long-lasting calamities and setbacks, and to allow you to once and for all escape the pattern of mediocrity, the pattern of unfulfillment, the pattern of constantly starting over, working, but not making any real progress. It's a very important lesson, and I share it with you from the heart. My purpose, my duty, my training, my expertise, my more than 10,000 hours of work are all dedicated to helping African Americans restore their original African mind. That's what I have done for over 30 years now. And to put that into context, what I mean is, excuse me, it's so cold out here. When I wrote my master's degree thesis back in 1992, I wrote my master's degree thesis on the human development model. I wrote a comparative thesis that explored Western ideas of psychology, what psychologists say is a human being, and how a human being becomes whole over different developmental stages. I compared that to the Yoruba model of human development and transformation. Okay? And so that was my study. I researched it, and I developed a human development model based upon that research, and I have been working that model nonstop since 1993. So it's been like 30 years. And so that's the backdrop for what I'm saying. And it's important that you know that and understand that. I'm not a guy who's on YouTube sharing videos and using buzzwords, cliches, and things like that. I'm telling you what I have done based on my research with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I am not exaggerating. This is my life's work. Restoring the African mind, helping Black people rediscover themselves on their own terms, based upon their own indigenous knowledge systems and worldview. And so what I know to be true based upon that work is that everything hinges upon your ability to recover yourself, to see yourself, to know yourself. And the way you do that is through your natural gifts and talents. There's something that you brought into the world in the way of your natural gifts and talents. Another way of saying it is there's something that brought you into the world with certain natural gifts and talents. And in our present Itajogun, Ifa tells us how Ori defeated each of the divinities, each of the Irumole in heaven, and then assigned them to different regions of Yoruba land and equipped them with their natural gifts and talents. And these natural gifts and talents are what those deities used to fulfill their destinies and become celebrated and revered all over the world today. It's a template for self-discovery, self-mastery, and the fulfillment of your destiny. Ori is your prenatal choice. Ori is the selector. Ori is the designator. Ori is the one that chose a certain formula for you that's different from anyone else's formula. And your ability to continue to choose that same formula over and over and over again is what will enable your evolution, your transformation, and your fulfillment. So Shango is the owner of the drum. Obatala is the owner of sculpting in clay. Ogun is the owner of iron. Orunmila is the owner of Ifa, so on and so forth. Each has their talent and all of the tools, resources, equipment associated with it. So have you. So your ability to discover, accept, and master your natural gifts and talents is the path toward fulfillment. So all my work hinges around that central theme and the particular skills that are associated with that habit of mind and that habit of being. In addition to discovering and mastering your natural gifts and talents is also the recovery and the restoration of your ancestral memory. Because you're not a free-floating radical. Just like every tree is here as the result of another tree. Every plant is here as the result of another plant. Every bird, every insect, every animal, everything in nature is the perpetuation of different, distinct disciplines and principles, virtues that come and manifest one wave after another from the beginning of time. So it is with you. Your ancestral memory is what ties you to your source. Your ancestral memory is what creates the context for your natural gifts and talents, where they have come from, why they're so useful. So all Ogun people can trace their individual talents and abilities back to the beginning of their lineage, which is tied to Ogun. All Obatala, all people, all Shango people, Oya people, all of them have their ancestral memory embedded in the beginning of time. And you get to see that why what you do helps to maintain the fabric of our world, the fabric of our society, the fabric of your family, the fabric of your life. So Your natural gifts and talents, your ancestral memory are tied together. Once you apprehend those, now all the other pieces will begin to come into, they're going to take their natural place in your life. The key here is mentorship. The key is guidance. The key is being led in a way that will constantly reinforce those fundamental realities. And herein is the crux of the lesson for today. Because what I know from my work with my community is that in this developmental journey, right, we can look at it from, infancy to childhood to pre-adolescence to adolescence to youth and young adulthood to eldership, etc. Right? We can characterize the journey that way. Something that I know is that there's a trend where our people we've had our developmental phases in our developmental journey, it has been interrupted. Just like slavery and colonization interrupted our development as a collective, we here in the United States, in the wake of that experience, there's something that has happened that, like, a lot of us have not recovered from, let's say, adolescence, from puberty. A lot of our people have never recovered from puberty. We're atrophied in this space of about like age 13 to 16. Which is a traumatic developmental phase. All life is initiation. So what I'm saying is quite natural as well. All life is initiation. When you go through different rites of passage, right, it is an ordeal. Just like Odisha initiation is an ordeal. Ifa initiation is an ordeal. You are put to some extreme challenges in order to evoke something within you, as well as to bring you into contact with something that's universal. It's always been available to you. You just didn't know how to see it until someone orchestrated the ordeal for you. Now, what has happened for us in the United States is that ordeal has happened organically, not formally. And so it just ends up being an unresolved trauma. And one of the ways that I can recognize it is that when you're like 13 to 16, you get stuck in this place of you're old enough to articulate certain things. You're old enough to discern certain things, but you don't have enough context to become wise. So all you want to do is prove that you're right. You're overwhelmed by this need to prove that your parents don't know everything. You are consumed with this insatiable need to prove that the teacher doesn't know everything, that the authorities, they don't know everything, that there's more than one way, that you are somehow special, that you're unique, that they don't understand you, that the way that you need to go and the way that you need to express yourself somehow translates to the rules don't apply to you. The structure is just limiting you. And these people who are putting boundaries up for your life are your enemies. These people who are holding you accountable for what you do and what you don't do are just trying to hold you down. These people who are really making you uncomfortable because they're requiring you to do things that you don't want to do, right? You see these folks as your adversaries because that's what's endemic to that adolescent mind. And as long as you stay atrophied in that developmental stage, you're going to continue to fight against the very things that are intended to and designed to save your life, upgrade the quality of your existence. You're gonna perceive everything that's good for you as the opposite of what it is. You're gonna perceive it as being bad for you. And so this is something that I've got to point out because, like I said, it's been my work. I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've been doing it in a variety of different contexts with my people, adults, children, families, individuals, groups, etc. And so it's important that you understand that everyone doesn't suffer from this trauma and this atrophy in the same way. People who are more mature, who have, for whatever reason, more emotional intelligence, more emotional maturity, they are able to understand that, oh, you know what? This is a small sacrifice that I'm making that's going to have a huge impact on my long-term success. This thing makes me uncomfortable. This thing, is pushing me. This individual who's mentoring me is telling me things and making me do things that, require me to change. And that's good. The changes that they're asking me to do actually line up with other areas of my life where I change. And I see that these principles apply everywhere. They apply universally. When I look at all the lives of successful people in my family and in my community and throughout history, I see that what this person is requiring of me is 100% in alignment with the formula for success. So I know there are people who are able to take advantage of the teachings right away because of their level of maturity. Another category of people is that, they just have a sense of urgency. They may not be there in terms of their emotional maturity just yet, but they've seen enough and they've experienced enough to know this is what's up. If I leave it to myself and I keep doing things the way that I am used to doing them, I'm going to keep getting the results that I'm used to getting. And those results are not what I want at the end of the day. I want something different. This part of my life, this journey that I'm on, being on this road, is just rugged. I'm falling, I'm slipping, I'm being robbed, I'm losing things. I cannot continue on this road. This must stop. When people come to that conclusion, they also submit to the teachings, to the principles, to the mentorship, to the guidance. Those people in either case are the ones who are able to start internalizing the practices and the habits that gradually restore their original thought, that put them into contact with their prenatal choice, that enable them to master their natural gifts and talents, that allow them to gradually but consistently align themselves with their ancestral promise. It works. It's real. Okay. Now, the difficulty for a lot of folks is that this is an Egbe thing, that people who are looking for shortcuts, people who are in denial about what's really going to facilitate and enable change, they cluster together. And then they reinforce their folly, and so if you get enough clusters of people like that, then you can see some of what we're seeing in the Orisha community today, which is there's a culture where a good percentage of the people are really doing nothing for themselves. They're just looking like it. They got on what appears to be the uniform. They appear to be bearing the titles. They appear to be, using the names and speaking the language, etc. But in reality, what they're actually practicing is of no value in terms of actually restoring their original thought, in terms of actually helping them to master themselves, right? because that doesn't happen by accident. This is why the mentorship is so important. You got to have somebody who knows how the process goes. You have to have a mentor who actually knows what the end result is supposed to be and knows the step-by-step process by which you're going to achieve that desired outcome. You have to have a vision, and you've got to have technique. You've got to have focus and discipline. Otherwise, it's almost a guarantee that it's not going to happen. You'll be running in circles. You'll be lost for decades. And I see that also. People who have been lost for decades, and they've created a whole culture of lostness. But people look and sound like they know what they're doing, and so they keep, themselves in motion. But they're just rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. They're not saving themselves at all. Okay, and so that's a dilemma, and we're working. I'm working to help address it, to just point it out, because once you have heard it, then you can start to see and you can detect and discern. This group of people is going down slow. This group of people is elevating gradually. Okay, and so it's ultimately, this is essential. It's necessary because we have a mission. We are Ennean. No matter how diverse we are as individuals, collectively, Ifa has taught us and said to us and defined our identity. We are Ennean. And our purpose for being here is to help bring about the good condition. And so I am pointing out these realities to you because I am certain that within your heart, intuitively, instinctively, you know that what I'm saying is accurate. And you know that what you want more than anything else is to be a part of something that will, that is true, something that's based on the ultimate reality, something that is eternal and everlasting. And that is what we were created to do. That is our purpose as human beings. And so I am certain that as you hear this, you will recognize how it speaks to your condition and potentially aligns you with your purpose individually and our purpose as a people. And so as such, you are the ones who I declare are the leaders. You're the ones who I'm talking to. I'm making a call out to the leaders, the folks who are ready to improve the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, then I want you to find out how Obafemi Origunwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's start doing everything that we have with what we have right now to help bring about the good condition. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Odabo.